Hey everybody, thanks for joining this micro webinar today. My name is Tim Stiling, and I will be taking you on a walkthrough of connecting Rally to Jira within the PPM process, as well as then being able to connect Jira to Azure DevOps so that a number of teams are connected that can often face breakdowns within the flow of work within the organization. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. So just to give you a little bit of an idea about this example scenario that we're going to be walking through in a hypothetical environment today, here's the typical flow of work for the development of new features. The project managers develop the user stories. They write out those stories in a way that communicates what the user wants to do. And then that user story is passed on as a feature to the dev manager. And the role of the development manager is to take that story and break that story down into specific tasks that the developers can then action on. But what we notice in this hypothetical organization is that there's a breakdown in communication between those different folks. So we see that the project managers may have an idea approved, but it takes a while for the development manager to know that. There might be some miscommunication throughout the process, and they might not get the full story. And then likewise, that handoff from the development manager to the developers, there's a bit of a breakdown there as well. The information is not communicated as soon as it's ready. There may be some attachments that are missing. There might be some information that the developers aren't seeing, which then in turn leads to rework because the project manager's ultimate vision is not being realized. These disconnected workflows, because of the different amounts of rework and because of the miscommunication between each of these areas, could lead to days, even weeks wasted, potentially missing a launch date, potentially getting beat by their competitors in this area. And ultimately, it just leads to a lot of frustration and wasted time. So what we're going to do here today is walk through how this value stream could look if it's being managed by ConnectALL's value stream management platform. So you'll see this as an example of how the organization's value stream could look. You'll see that you have Rally over here on the planning side, and then you've got stories and incidents flowing into Jira. And then from Jira, we've got the stories, which have become features, flowing from Jira into Azure DevOps. And we have the incidents, which have become bugs, flowing into Azure DevOps as well from Jira. And so let's take a look at how this could potentially work using an example user story. So I'm going to jump on over to Rally. And so you'll see here that this is a brand new user story that the project management team in Rally is looking to figure out. So they want to be able to communicate that within the shopping cart online, they really need a double-click feature in order to make sure that folks who are coming to their online store are able to instantaneously buy the product now. They think that will not only increase revenue for the organization, but that it'll also make life a lot easier for the users who don't want to have to fill out a form every time. And so they need this double-click functionality to work. And so at the very early stage, this is what the user story looks like. Add double-click as the name. And then the story is I am able to double-click on other platforms to immediately purchase, these other platforms being our competitors. And the user would like to do the same with this platform. So we'll go ahead and create this user story. And we'll come back here to this area. Now, one thing that the project management team is very sensitive about is that there's a lot of back and forth discussion and debate that's happening during this time. And so we don't necessarily want to send something over to the development managers in Jira until this has been accepted and this is ready to go. And so after a lot of back and forth debate, they may realize add double click is a very vague name. We want to make sure that we add in our shopping cart. And then we also want to make sure that the fact that this is happening in the shopping cart is very clear in the user story. So I'd like to do the same with this platform in our shopping cart. So now that we've got this information and it's passed through a few rounds of debate within the project management team, we are ready to accept this. And so now that I've saved this user story, add double click in our shopping cart, ConnectALL is going to be scanning the Rally environment every minute to be able to see if there's any new or updated user stories that specifically have a schedule state of accepted. Again, we don't want anything to synchronize over if it has not already been accepted by the project management team. And so the synchronization and this searching by ConnectALL within the Rally environment is happening every minute. We'll go ahead and just for the sake of time, I'll click Sync Now just to immediately trigger a synchronization. And you'll see over here on the left-hand side in the activity tracker that this user story has been pulled from Rally. So I'm going to come back here to Jira and refresh my screen. And you'll see up here, we've now got a brand new user story that has been converted into a feature within the Jira environment. And so now the buck passes on to the development manager. So from here, their job is to break this into tasks for the development team. So we're going to say, update our shopping cart UX. So updating the user experience in order to facilitate this double click, create a functioning double click. Now that we have a couple tasks available for the development team to work on, we'll go ahead and click Save. Except, again, we don't want, as the development management team, we don't want this to synchronize over to the developers until it's ready to be actioned. And so again, there may be some internal debate. There might be a need to go for a walk, think about some of these tasks, think about if we forgot something. So now I'm going to upgrade this to in progress. And so now that we've moved from to do to in progress, that meets the functionality of the integration that we've set up, going from Jira to Azure DevOps, adding that extra layer of governance so that any of those features that have a label, a status of to do, will not be synchronized over until progress has started and we want to flag to the development team, it's time to begin working on this. And so you'll see over here in the activity tracker that there has been a new feature created within the Azure DevOps environment. And if I refresh my screen, you will see this brand new feature has been added. So let's go on into here. And now that we see the story and the tasks, the job of the developers from here is to take that information and develop the code. So as a developer, I kind of walk back, I develop this, the script that's going to address this problem. And I will type in the description, code for review. And I'll go ahead and link the code repository that I have in GitHub. So then now when I click save, you'll see that the description has the code for review in GitHub. And I'll go ahead and update the state to resolved so that the development manager knows it's time for review. So as I come back here, you'll notice that the feature has been updated. Let me just make sure to update it again in case it missed that I synchronized the status. Looks like it got it in time, so we should be good to go. So I'm going to update. And when I refresh my screen, what you'll notice here is that we have the story, the tasks, and the code for review. And so now what the development manager can do is it can coordinate the communication between the testing team and the security team. And once it has done so, we're going to go ahead and we'll attach a couple files, manual testing results, and then the security scan results. And you'll see that those different results have been added here within the attachment field. And so now that that's been completed, what we'll see is that there has been an update. So from feature sync, this Jira ticket, over to Azure DevOps. And so then if I refresh my screen, you'll notice that there are now these two attachments. So the development team can know immediately, okay, we have these as our testing results, and we have these as our security scan results. And so if we want to go even further, what we could potentially do in this scenario is we could say, for our tasks, perhaps the functioning double click, it got flagged in the testing for not working properly. So I can bold this and say, this needs to be reviewed. It failed the test. So then I can go ahead and drop this from in review back down to in progress. And this information has been updated accordingly. So now if I come back over here, I'll trigger an immediate synchronization of the features. And then if I come back here and refresh my screen in Azure DevOps, you'll notice that the state has come down to active, and there has been this, this new comment added to the description saying which part of these tasks need to be reviewed. And so as you'll see, a lot of the breakdowns that we talked about at the very start of today's presentation, if I come back over to this screen, you'll notice that these breakdowns have been addressed by the additional communication that these ConnectALL integrations have allowed between the project management team in Rally, the development management team in Jira, and the developers within Azure DevOps. So I appreciate you guys taking the time to join today's micro webinar. If you have any questions, I can go ahead and keep an eye out for them in the next 30 seconds or so. But if not, then I think we will be good to go. So I think for today, we are all set. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch today's micro webinar. I hope that seeing this ability to set up integrations between Rally, Jira, and Azure DevOps has been helpful for you. And if you want to learn a little bit more, feel free to reach out to our team. You can shoot us an email, sales@connectall.com, or you can reach out to us through our website in order to get a demo or contact us with any questions you may have. Thanks for your time today, and I hope you have a great rest of your Thursday.